Hello and welcome back to my channel. On the note that we always do, or I've been doing this week, trans rights or human rights, Black Lives Matter, please comment down below with those things that is really annoying the trolls. I woke up this morning to 6 comments in a row that said things like poop emojis. Like they were trying to drown out the trans rights or human rights by just spamming my thing with poop emojis and saying the trans rights aren't human rights. So continue to take them off. It is working. They are mad and I am here for it because, well, anything that ticks off the transphobes and the racist and the bigoted pieces of garbage makes me very happy. So to those of you who have done that. Alright, don't forget to also hit that like and subscribe button before you leave. I could always use more likes and subscribers because I'm interesting. I don't know, I feel weird saying that. I've never said it before. But don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button to catch more of my weird content and more of me being weird. Okay. On this episode of Christian Cringe, we're going after Kat, what is her name? It's Kat Karr? Kat Karr. And, yeah, this one's gonna be fun. So let's just jump into the first clip. And yeah, let's just do this because it's gonna be interesting, I promise. Alright guys.
Now we have several things we want to talk about in this broadcast, so I'll just give you a little, what is it called? An outline, an index, whatever you want to call it. Okay, we will discuss the reality of what God is doing right now. We will discuss the earthquakes that started the shaking that God said on November the 4th of 2020, when the ground begins to shake. Wait for the great exposure of fraud to begin to happen. And when it's done, it will all be dealt with. It will all be brought to justice. I don't need to name any names to let you know that this is what he's doing. So on November the 4th, things started shaking. And guess what? Even up to right now, they are still shaking. Not just here in America, all over the world. Some of them cannot even be explained. Why? Because sometimes in the spirit realm, what they're doing is so powerful, there's always a little bit of that laps over into this natural realm, and people can feel it sometimes, they can hear it. And let me tell you, that shaking and the winds being released, that is God moving on this earth. Yes, I mean the Father moving on the earth. You remember what happened the first time he did that? The mountains caught on fire. Well, he wants your souls to catch on fire for him. Not in fear, not thinking you needed to be rescued. This is God's reality now. We've jumped to that subject. God has a reality. And his reality is this is a powerful, exciting time to be alive. He has never changed that. Some people have changed it. Some people are jumping off that train right now, thinking they were going to be derailed and there'll be a crash. I think the future will take a crash, because you cannot speak for God saying adamantly, this is what he has said, and this is what he's going to do. And just because you don't know the time, you think it's not going to happen. That is an immaturity in the prophets of God. You need to know if he says something to you or showed you and said, this will happen, just because it's not in your window of time or man's window of time, it doesn't mean it won't happen. You can't back up. You can't stop going forward. The true prophets of God right now are speaking greatness, the power of God, the joy of the Lord, celebration.
Okay, so the clip you just watched is her, almost like her opening statement, and you can start to see where she's going to branch into the brand of crazy. And we're going to talk about her winds, ground shaking, and earthquakes thing in another clip, because we're going to get more detailed into that. But she's telling people that the prophets aren't the prophets if they're still not on that train. What she means by train is Trump train, because she was absolutely and totally convinced and has doubled down on the fact that she believes that Donald Trump will be inaugurated like magic. I'm not entirely sure how old this video is. I found it today and it looked like it was posted fairly recently. I think it said within the past 24 hours, but at the same time this video seems fairly old. So, but she's doubling down on the whole Trump will be anointed, Trump will be the next president of the United States, which we've already established Biden is the president. I mean, he just signed the American Relief Package. He just signed the several sets of executive orders. I mean, he's in charge of the military. I mean, I don't know how you cannot, at this point, understand that Donald Trump is no longer the president. I mean, he did just release this former statement, which we're going to go in a video in a little bit, talking about how he wants credit for the vaccine. So for a quote-unquote president who can't be, or for someone who's a president, he sure doesn't seem to be acting like one, but it's not that different from when he was president, so now he just gets to sit at Mar-a-Lago and, oh, nope, still not different. But he's not the president of the United States, and this lady is. Alright, let's jump on to the next clip, because there's only so much bat nuts that I can do in one day. Yeah, let's just jump on to the next clip.
I do have something a lot don't. I have the seer anointing. If you were a prophet and you could see into the spirit, you would right now see demons quaking in fear, sliming their way to get out of the way, because they know and they can see God is walking across this nation. They're terrified now because they know their plans are going up in smoke, literally. They're running away as fast as they can so they don't get burnt by the fire of God. And let me tell you, your prayers are so powerful when you stand with God and you make declarations. It begins to release something in the spirit realm that does cause fear in the camp of the enemy. The enemy is not man. The enemy is Satan. He just uses man. He uses him for his own purposes, to speak his words, to say what his plans are. His plans are never good. And they don't bring hope or joy to anybody. So don't listen to anyone who's speaking in doom and gloom and hate and cowering and having to put up with a horrible future. Maybe they want that future. I don't. The moral majority in this country don't want that future. The true body of Christ, who are all knowing that God is going to move his hand when he is ready, whether it is tomorrow or not. You may hold your finger out and say, you're fake news. You're a fake leader. We don't receive you. We don't celebrate what you've said because fraud has been committed. Not sure.
She's a seer, guys. She literally says she's a seer. She can see and prophesize. That's what she's trying to say right here. She's a seer and she can prophesize. Then why didn't she prophesize that Trump was going to lose? Because he lost. Yeah. She's a seer. She's a seer, guys. She's like, I'm a seer. I can see what others can't, and demons are running in fear. First off, if people tell you demons are running in fear, that's your first chance to just skedoodle on out of there and run, because most of the time they're not stable. Nothing about this video screams stable. They're not demons running around, and they're not in fear of a few prayers, and prayers are not powerful. I'm sorry, I'm going to piss off some people, but prayers are not powerful. Prayers are just good well wishes and good thoughts. I would be the same as me wishing and hoping and giving good thoughts to anyone. Thoughts and prayers aren't powerful. They're just thoughts. They're just thoughts you think in your head and that manifest into nothing. She's claiming to be a seer. I can't get over the fact she's claiming to be a seer. Never trust anyone who claims to be a seer and is the one that will lead you in the right direction and prophesize. Because those people are the biggest scammy people on the planet. She is not a prophet. She has not gotten a single thing right. She just sounds like a lunatic, because she is. And she's scamming people. She's making money off of it, off of her YouTube. She's making money off of her Facebook Lives. I mean, it's a moneymaker for her. It is a grift and a scam. She is not a prophet. She is not a seer. She has not predicted anything correctly ever, anytime whatsoever. Demons are not running afraid of anything. demons don't exist. There's no such thing as demons. So this is just somebody being for the Alright, let's jump into the next video. Let's do this.
Something like that.
And then there was a earthquake around 2:58. I'm trying to remember where it was.
In the morning.
Yeah, in the morning.
That would have been the 4th.
a.m.
That would have been the 4th. Probably
There
when
was
stuff was going on.
big earthquake. I think it was it Alaska?
False Pass,
That's
Alaska.
right.
Of all names, False Pass.
Alaska.
Are you kidding? Is that crazy? I think God was saying something even
And then, of
back
course,
then.
we all know they mysteriously got all those votes that came in at 3 a.m.
Yes. Hey,
3
that's just a
a.m.,
few minutes after
4
2:52 a.m.
So,
Not only that, there was a second earthquake in Alaska at 5:35 p.m.
Yeah.
So all those hours going by, we're going to find out about all that really
Yep.
soon. But where else in the world on
there
November
was,
4th were there earthquakes?
There was one in Canada. There was the Philippines, Greece, Turkey.
Actually, many, weren't
Yeah,
there?
there was a lot. There was
And
a lot.
have they stopped since then, Jen?
No.
Not at
No.
all.
But not just the earthquakes. There's been mysterious ground shakings
Yes.
everywhere that's not reported.
That's right.
And they don't know where it's come from. And
It's
also there's
the
been
activity of the host of heaven, people.
unusual gusts of winds that have come out of nowhere.
Yes. That were
So-
not natural, right? They weren't like
Yeah.
a natural wind. I'm telling you, God, why would God say that about the shaking? It's to encourage you and let you know He is doing things that you cannot see right now. But everything that is seen, this is what the word says, everything that is seen was made by that which was unseen. The unseen is the spirit realm. It is the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit's activities. And there is a lot of that going on. They are driving things out, moving things into position that they will need there, placed there for what is going to happen.
Okay, so now we're getting into the stuff that's really, really easy to debunk. Okay, she's saying that there were earthquakes in Alaska, which she's technically correct. There were earthquakes in Alaska, and there are still continuing earthquakes all around the world. Do you know why? Like, okay, so I went through. There's a whole entire website devoted to how many earthquakes Alaska has, their magnitude, all of it. And guess what? Alaska gets earthquakes weekly almost. I mean, sometimes twice a week, sometimes twice in the same day. They're on a fault. They get earthquakes all the time. So, I mean, she just went looking for an earthquake in the United States and latched onto one on a fault line. Because they happen fairly regularly. You could literally Google Alaska earthquakes and it will take you to a little website that will give you all of their earthquakes every month. The magnitude, the date, and the time that it happened. It's that simple. And if you count them out, I looked at like 6 months and averaged it out to I think 10 or 12 earthquakes a month. So, you know, odds were in her favor that she was going to get one on November 4th. So, there's that. She then continues to say that earthquakes are still happening all around the world. The earth is still quaking. There are 50 to 55 earthquakes every day across the world and 20,000 on average earthquakes a year. Odds are there's going to be an earthquake somewhere. There's 50 to 55 in a day and 20,000 a year. You're going to be able to find an earthquake somewhere if you just Google today's earthquakes. It's that simple. She then talks about these gusts of winds that are coming out of nowhere. There are no gusts of winds coming out of nowhere. I'm assuming she's talking about the polar vortex that came down. Well, the reason that happened is because of climate change. Because as we warm things up and things melt, it pushes colder air down, and we end up with these massive storms that we've had recently, all the nor'easters. That's just science. She then talks about these earth tremors, loud bang noise things. Those are common throughout history, and there's a lot of things that are associated to that. It could be military exercises has been the cause of some of them. There has been storms, and even earthquakes that have happened hundreds of miles away have caused earth moving and noises throughout the world. Go look up North Carolina. They're fairly regularly known for this stuff. It's not abnormal. It's not uncommon. It's been going around. The earliest one I found was from the 1800s. So, It's not abnormal. It's not new. None of this is abnormal. None of this is new. It's just science that she's twisting in to fit her narrative. And it's crazy. It is absolutely crazy. And they seem so confident too, especially with the Alaska stuff. No. Now, for the 300 ballots, or the 300, whatever she's saying about ballots showing up, we all know about the Red Mirage, where it would appear that Trump was winning states because they counted the in-person votes first, which we knew were going to be more Republican, and then counted the mail-in ballots later on throughout the week. We knew that was coming. It even happened when we were looking at Warnock and Ossoff's race. Mail-in ballots, regular ballots, skewed it and put it all over the place. We knew this was going to happen. We were trying to warn people months in advance because we knew this was going to happen. So it wasn't a surprise when it happened that night. Was it nerve-wracking? Yes. Was I biting my nails until we got Michigan? Abso-freaking-lutely. But we had it, and I knew we had it due to the Red Mirage. Once you look at where the votes were coming in, what was left to be counted, and where it was coming from, you knew who had what states. If you had any sort of political science knowledge, or even, you know what, I think CNN that night was talking about it too, where if you had the results, or in the precincts in the counties, I think CNN was talking about it. I don't know, because at that point I wasn't watching CNN, but I'm pretty sure that they covered it too. So even if you watch CNN, Fox News, MSNBC, they were all talking about it from what I understand. So it was fairly predictable. We knew it was coming weeks, if not months in advance. So if you want a real prediction, we called the Red Mirage months in advance. I guess I'm now a prophet of the Lord because I predicted a Red Mirage weeks, if not months, before the election. I guess I'm a prophet and a seer now because I've had a more accurate prediction than she did. Funny how that works. All right, let's jump on to the next clip.
Be strong. Be powerful. Enjoy this time in your life. That you were born in an epic time where we can stand with God and not be moved and see the fruit of our lips. Power, joy, celebration, time with God. This sounds like victory to me. So come victory, come freedom, liberty, righteousness, and justice.
You made me jump.
Make sure you're living it. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow, talking to you on Elijah List at 2 p.m.
Yes.
We're not waiting till Wednesday. Tomorrow evening, 6 p.m. with Ben Lim.
Mm-hmm.
And then on Thursday, we're taking a vacation on Wednesday.
Yes.
Woohoo! Okay. Thursday, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'll be with Steve Schultz. And Thursday evening, I will be back on Flashpoint. Don't miss it.
But isn't there someone with you on Steve Schultz too?
With Steve Schultz on Thursday at 2 p.m., Jeff Jansen and Johnny Enlow will be with us with Steve Schultz.
There's more than one person.
Yeah. Some of my brothers will be there who are standing strong, running forward, not tolerating the enemy in their life either.
Brothers from another mother.
Yes. Other mothers.
Johnny Enlow and
Jeff Jansen. Woohoo! I'm looking forward to it. And then Thursday evening,
You were born in an epic time, so eat cake! There's literally, I cut it down in half because of insanity reasons, but basically for 3 minutes along, she eats cake and talks about victory and celebration. Thoroughly confused with the woo of it, but remember, if you stand with God, you can't eat cake. I eat cake, but I don't believe in God, so what am I celebrating? Oh yeah, not being crazy. She literally sits there and they eat cake for 3 minutes talking about victory, and I don't know what they're expecting to be victorious. She, in this entire video, won't give dates or who's going to be arrested or who's going to be caught for this magnificent fraud that she's talking about because, how should I put this? Because every prediction she's made with a date on it has been wrong, And she knows that she'll lose audiences if she continues to be wrong. So be as vague as possible. Don't link dates. Just be like, it's coming, it's coming, it's coming. And then you will just, keep watching her videos and keep sending her cash to her lives, things like that, because she's never given an exact date, so she never has to admit she was wrong while spending 3 minutes eating a cake for no reason other than the fact that she's Looney Tunes. Yeah, am I covering it all? Yeah, that's basically the gist of it. I mean, we're gonna have more fun covering this lady. I will be covering her more. I will go through more of her videos, but this is insane. It's insane. This is insane. She's eating cake for 3 minutes, talking about earthquakes like they're not a common occurrence, and talking about magical winds that aren't, like, none of this makes sense. And she's all doing this in the name of her God and that she is a prophet and a seer. Alright guys, I'm gonna go scrub my eyeballs out and do a brain cleanse, and I will be back, and I will see y'all later.